I'm still a little bit in shock. There's a lot of things to do right now, a lot of things to plan, and that's keeping me focused because I want to make sure all of these things are done in a way that represents Brian and how he was in his life. But there's hard conversations. There's conversations no one ever wants to have with their kids, and I'm starting those things. And it used to be a day at a time, which was something I never thought I could do, and now it's maybe 30 minutes or 15 minutes at a time, just getting through whatever the next task is that I have to do. I don't feel that the reality of it has still set in. There were so many days over the 9 years that he was sick that I would wake up and say, I can't believe that this is actually my life. I can't believe that this is actually happening. And as he started to get very sick, even though every doctor told us that would happen, I still couldn't believe it. Brian was definitely the public one of us, and I was much more private. And as many people knew him and as many ways that they knew him, it was very different in the way that I knew him and the way that the people that he kept close to him knew him. And as public as he was very private with his family. And I don't know how anyone starts to capture all of that in one person. When we have talked to different public service agencies about the ways that they want to be a part of the services, multiple people have said, well, he was involved in everything and he did everything, and that was true. It was very true that he did that. It's a wonderful testament to him and his public service, and I'm trying to use those as representations to our children about, as sad as it is, about how we get to see how many people respected him and honored him and how many people want to be a part of it because they thought that much of him, and that we are as proud of him as he is of us. He had this ability to always be composed, even in the worst situations. He was very stoic. He always had the right thing to say, and I'm sure he comforted a lot of people that he met on their worst day. He was able to comfort them, was still able to keep himself together, do his job, and not fall apart under that type of stress. And he has always done public service in one way or another. We talked a lot about how bad he wanted to be here to see them grow up, but he knew that might not happen. He always said that he wished that they saw themselves the way he saw them. And he just saw a little bit of himself in each of them. And everything that they did. How did you feel like you did today? Did you do your best? Were you happy with how you played? What do you think that you could have done better? He stayed very positive with them. He was very encouraging. That's where his heart was. His heart was with his family. That was always the case. Because once he became a dad, everything else really was secondary. Brian was diagnosed on March 17th, 2010. And that very next day, when they talked to us about how grim the diagnosis was, what poor treatment options there were, he said he wasn't going to be a statistic. He wasn't going to be someone who allowed cancer to define him. He wasn't going to allow that to change what he felt like he needed to do. He felt that he tried things in his life and he put himself out in ways that he may not have otherwise, including running for public office, had he not went through what he had with cancer. He was very young whenever he was diagnosed. Of course, you know, we both were. He's 26 years old, so you don't have a whole lot of life perspective at 26. We got a lot of perspective very quickly, and I often said I felt like I aged about 20 years in just a few months in just the way that you see things. So whenever we felt like there was something that we really wanted to go do with the kids, we did it. Always was very encouraging of people to keep going, to keep fighting. And he took a lot of pride in that. He was very proud that he did as well as he did with the diagnosis he was given for as long as he had. If more people maintained a positive attitude and never complained, and certainly he had lots of reasons to complain. He never did. This community, this county, this area, the entire country, the world would be in a much better state if people faced everything that he did and still chose to be the person that he was, because certainly anyone would have understood if he didn't want to, or if he wanted to give up. He never did.